The episode opens with Elisa and Gil at the academy. Giles suggests they ditch class, but Elisa firmly refuses, stating that cutting class would render her hard work pointless. She proceeds into the lecture hall, greeting her peers. They react with astonishment, questioning her presence. She announces that, effective immediately, she's enrolled in their course, explaining that the lower-level material was mind-numbingly simple and she sought a more challenging curriculum. This perceived haughtiness and condescending tone irritates the other students, who view her as impolite and vain. Just then, Liz intervenes, urging everyone to settle down. While acknowledging that Elisa's delivery could have been gentler, Liz argues against ostracizing her and suggests they offer a warm welcome. Liz extends a friendly greeting, but Elisa disregards her and chooses a distant seat, surprising those present. After the lecture concludes, Liz approaches Elisa again, inquiring if she'd like to join her for lunch. Elisa rebuffs her sharply, declaring, "Becoming your friend isn't on my agenda." Undeterred, Liz persists, expressing a genuine desire for friendship. "Let's begin anew," Liz proposes. "Discuss different things, share our experiences. I'll happily tell you all about myself, and I'd love to learn more about you, too." Elisa is taken aback, thinking, what kind of person is this? She can't be human. An angel, maybe? After all that, she still wants to be my friend. Elisa ultimately declines the lunch offer, citing a poor mood, and departs. Later, Elisa and Gil find Elisa in the garden, lost in contemplation. She muses aloud, "Comparing myself to the heroine is ridiculous. I'm the antagonist, but perhaps the Duke is different for me. Still, I can't behave like a weak villain. What should I do?" Gil offers his perspective, suggesting she distance herself from the Duke temporarily to clarify her emotions. Does she truly love him or not? Elisa counters that she cannot, as it would resemble retreat, unbecoming of a true villain. I strive for villainous perfection," she confesses. What are your thoughts on Elisa's character? Pause the video and share your insights in the comments. The scene transitions to Liz and the others dining. The Duke sits alone, preoccupied and indifferent to the surrounding activity. Elisa approaches him, observing his apparent sadness. She expresses remorse for her previous conduct and her sharp demeanor. Then, fully embracing her antagonistic role, she draws closer, lifts his chin, and states firmly, "Pay attention. Let me be crystal clear. I will not passively observe someone I care for. I will actively protect them with my own two hands." The prince chuckles, indicating he understands her message and will no longer restrain himself. He cautions her to be ready. Is, clearly bewildered, approaches the Duke, reminding him that the music festival requires his input and urging him to join the discussion. The prince rises, apologizing to Elisa for the interruption. Elisa, however, is unexpectedly pleased by this development. While most would be annoyed, this overly ambitious girl is delighted. Why? Because she relishes being perceived as the antagonist, aspiring to become history's ultimate villain. What do you all think of this outlandish goal? A classmate then approaches Elisa, apologizing and requesting her presence for a moment. Elisa replies frostily, "I won't accompany someone I don't know without a valid reason. Do you take me for a fool?" The girl apologizes again, and Elisa departs. The girl attempts to pursue her, but her books tumble to the floor. Elisa utilizes her magic to levitate the books before leaving, the girl's purpose still a mystery. Later, as everyone disperses, Mill lingers, eavesdropping. Eventually, Elisa arrives where Liz and her sisters are gathered. She explains she came due to a letter summoning her to the Rose Garden after classes. Jane, one of the sisters, confirms authorship of the note and sarcastically thanks Elisa for coming. Jane then angrily announces, before everyone, that she lured Elisa there to expose her true colors and hold her accountable for tormenting her friend, Marika. Elisa recognizes the setup. Jane proceeds to accuse Elisa of repeatedly mistreating Liz out of envy, claiming she could never measure up to Liz's virtuous nature. Unable to surpass Liz, Jane alleges, Elisa redirected her pent-up resentment onto Marika, who was too gentle to fight back. A bewildered Melissa responds that she has no recollection of such events. She adds that Marika wouldn't even divulge her name during their interactions. Jane insists that feigning ignorance is futile and prompts Marika to produce evidence. Marika then presents a recording of Elisa speaking harshly, but the recording is fragmented and suspiciously altered. Despite this, the group launches into a barrage of criticism against Elisa. What are your thoughts, friends, on Elisa's treatment? Pause the video and leave your comments below. Elisa thought to herself, earth magic wasn't her forte, but she was certain that specific incantation was a working one. As Liz approached, she remarked, "Marika is so good-natured, and harming her only brings her down." Elisa responded curtly, "You can't evaluate people in such a manner." Her words infuriated those present, who expected a confession, believing they possessed damning evidence. Then, another girl, Carol, stepped forward to defend Elisa. She argued that their accusations were baseless and pleaded for them to consider both perspectives. Elisa was surprised by Carol's unexpected support. Jane attempted to discredit Carol's intervention, insisting their existing evidence was conclusive. Just then, Mill arrived with proof of Elisa's innocence. She played the complete recording, providing critical context missing from the manipulated version. Everyone was stunned by the unedited audio. Mill then questioned, "Why are there two nearly identical recordings? One is clearly fabricated. Do you think an earth magic specialist can't discern the genuine one?" A nervous, trembling girl confessed, "Jane instructed me. She wanted a pretext to turn everyone against Eliza. I was too afraid to disobey." A furious Jane erupted, accusing Elisa of being disrespectful to Liz. She argued that Liz's kindness and strength in enduring Elisa's harsh words were admirable. "Didn't you all agree you couldn't tolerate her either? That's why I felt obligated to act," Jane declared. Liz, however, turned to Elisa and apologized, stating, "This is my responsibility." Jane protested, "I did it for you. Even if you hadn't asked, I couldn't simply ignore it." Elisa, composed, replied, "You haven't done anything wrong. I understand your motivation. I won't accept your apology, but I won't reject it either." Mill approached Elisa and said, "Let's go. We have much to discuss." As they departed, Elisa inquired, "Who are you? There's no way you could have captured that conversation at precisely the right moment unless you knew what was going to transpire. I'm positive you weren't even there." Mill smiled and responded, "I'm your greatest admirer. Your sleek, dark hair, your luminous complexion, the pointed words that grace your lovely lips, and those intense, determined eyes are simply captivating. I also despise Liz. She interferes in everyone's affairs, feigning superior understanding. It irritates many, yet they end up complying. And there's no evidence she employs spells or enchanted objects for manipulation. It's quite suspicious. A few students resist Liz's influence, but most remain quiet for the sake of peace. The saint's powers seem to have limitations." Mill continued, "Remember your bold defiance of her in the Rose Garden? You handled it masterfully. It was truly exhilarating." Suddenly, the Duke appeared and struck Mill, apologizing to Elisa. "I am sorry for my subordinate's actions. This is my personal informant. She is unconventional, but exceptionally gifted in earth magic. She serves as my eyes and ears." Mill, rubbing her head, explained, "Earth magic enables audio recording, as demonstrated earlier. It also allows concealment and the erasure of one's presence. That's how I obtained the recording." The Duke added, "I instructed her to observe you, but not constantly. She attends her own classes. I didn't want to infringe on your autonomy. I enjoy seeing your vibrancy and spirit. I feared you'd feel restricted if you knew. But hearing your words has given me pause." Mill's decision to reveal herself was unforeseen, but I'm pleased it has allowed me to speak with you directly. Elisa replied, "So you were aware of my villainous persona all along? That makes me feel like an accomplice. Not that it's unpleasant." Suddenly, Elisa seemed startled. "Oh dear, I just remembered an appointment," she exclaimed, dashing off. Gil followed her outside. Elisa told Gil, "I promised grandfather and will a visit, but that doesn't seem very villainous. I aspire to be a captivating woman." Later that evening, everyone assembled, and the king addressed the gathering. "I believe it is time to enlighten you all about the Duke's future and the kingdom's history, specifically, the current king's older brother." He then revealed the shocking truth. Will is the elder brother, leaving everyone in stunned silence.